Welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. It's a beautiful Sunday and it's raining outside here, but that won't stop me from bringing you the latest around Arsenal Football Club. Now, according to the Mirror, Arsenal are set to win the race to sign MYKHAYLO MUDRYK, with Shakhtar Donetsk significantly lowering their demands to up to 40 to 45 million pounds. We'll talk about that. Danilo is thinking about the Arsenal offer that we have actually tabled for them, and Takehiro Tomiyasu is one of the players wanted by Juventus in January. So we're going to be discussing much of that. Tell me your take on Takehiro Tomiyasu. Is he one player that you could actually do away with from the squad in January? In my opinion, I don't think that would be a wise move, but we'll talk about that. But in the comment section, talk to me. Do you think Takehiro Tomiyasu can move on now because he's one of those unused players by Mikel Arteta? Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 300 likes and subscribe to the podcast. That helps massively out on the channel. Now, let's start off with a story that has been written by the Mirror today. Of course, it's a Sunday and it's kind of slow, but the Mirror have actually written and said Arsenal are set to win the race for MYKHAYLO MUDRYK, with insiders saying the framework of a deal is in place after Shakhtar significantly lowering their demands. Close to 90 million is what they were asking for. It is now understood they are willing to accept around 40 million pounds plus add-ons, reported by the Mirror. So 40 million pounds plus add-ons, that is the structure of the deal, or that is the framework of the deal. And they're lowering their demands from 100 million to around probably 50 to 56 million euros. Also, Ben Jacobs has been speaking about this, and he said he can also confirm that Shakhtar will be accepting a figure between 51 to 56 million pounds, other than the 100 million euros they were actually asking for. Now, I've already said this, guys. I do not have a problem with Arsenal paying a lot of money as long as the player is right. For Shakhtar Donetsk, they don't deserve 100 million euros or pounds in MYKHAYLO MUDRYK. I don't see how his price rises from 30 to 100 million just because he scored a few goals in the UEFA Champions League. It doesn't work like that. If it's a whole season and another whole season, yeah, I understand. But one season and then you actually half a season, and then you're increasing the player's price by almost 70%. It actually doesn't work like that. So Shakhtar now are getting humbled, and this comes from what we talked about yesterday from Charles Watts, that MYKHAYLO MUDRYK and the agent are going to be putting a lot of pressure on Shakhtar. They know they want a move, and Shakhtar have already, we understand that Shakhtar do know that the player wants a move as well. So it's about either Shakhtar comply and listen to offers and get into meaningful talks, or the player and his agent are actually going to push for a move. It's never going to end very, very well. We've seen these deals where a player is unhappy with the club because they blocked his move, and in the end, instead of getting around 60 or 50 million, the player stays for another year. His form drops, his attitude becomes negative, and the environment becomes toxic, and then you're going to lose him for around 10, 11, 12 million euros. You don't want that to happen, and I think Shakhtar being very, very smart here. They do understand we can get 100 million in 2023 or 2024 in the summer, but right now the player is not patient. He's not actually ready to stay with us. If they can't convince him otherwise to keep his place at Shakhtar, stay with them, that's a whole different story. But in my opinion, they will not actually be able to keep him. So it's the structure of the deal is what I like here. 40 million pounds, that is upfront, and then plus a few add-ons. I highly doubt Arsenal will be willing to give them 40 million pounds straight and then a few million in add-ons. I think what Arsenal will be trying to do is, we're giving you around 30 or 35 million euros upfront, and then we'll add you another 15 or 20 million euros in installments or at a later date. And look, the ball is in our hands right now. Shakhtar are now yielding to the pressure. Arsenal just need to come up with a meaningful figure and a meaningful framework or structure of the deal, and then we can get MYKHAYLO MUDRYK at the Emirates Stadium. It's getting hotter and hotter. Yeah, the Mirror are not the best reliable outlet for us to be making all this noise. But why I actually picked them out is because the story is kind of building. It's not the breakout story. It's a building story. So whichever kind of information that we get that is relevant at this point in time, I think it can be trusted. So let's wait and see what's going to happen with MYKHAYLO MUDRYK in January. Arsenal trying to do these deals before January opens. I think that is very, very smart and very clever. But I got a problem. If we don't get them at the beginning of January, and we get them 10 days in, probably 14 days in, that is 2 weeks, I got no problems with that. I know the bigger part and the bigger task of our campaign is going to come in March, April and May. That is when we have so many games coming together thick and fast, and we have so many compact big fixtures. You have City, Chelsea, United almost in the same week, almost in a space of 9 days. I think that is in March. So right now, take your time, but get these deals done. So talking about Danilo, yesterday, of course, we did talk about the bid that Arsenal are raiding, and actually say that the representatives of the player have told George Nicolo, the Arsenal have told them they are going to be placing a bid after the group stages of the World Cup. If I'm not mistaken, that should be that should be this coming week, when all the teams have actually played round 3 of their fixtures. Now, I have a problem here, guys, with the timing, but I think it's all right anyway, but I just don't understand why it should be after the group stages of the World Cup. So information we are getting, Danilo and his representatives are actually now sitting and discussing the possibility of moving to Arsenal. After all, that is the reason as to why Arsenal had to notify them that we are actually going to be sending in a bid to Palmeiras. You need to give us your consent. And look, this is very, very smart. You need to know, does the player want to play for me? Does the player want to join us? Does he want to be a part of this family? Like Mikel has already said, you've got to be 100% committed to sign for us. If you're not 100% committed, then we could sign you only as a by the way. But if you're not committed, then it's better not. It's better for us not to sign you. So Danilo and his representatives are thinking about Arsenal. In my opinion here, I know Brazilian players and Brazilian agents and how the market works. They're waiting for another club to approach them, and then they either create a bidding war, not for the club, because I've not seen all these young Brazilian talents move for huge humongous amounts of fees. It's not the point. The point is about who can give us the biggest amount of money at this particular point in time. So if Arsenal are offering them probably like 20k per week, they're still waiting to see. Maybe can Ajax give us 25? Maybe can Monaco give us 30? Maybe can AC Milan or Atletico Madrid or Inter Milan come in and table a 40k contract per week? But I think Arsenal need to put some pressure on this deal, especially on the player side. For Palmeiras, it's clear. They want to sell, they will sell. But my problem is with Danilo and the representatives. They will try to, prolong this deal just to make sure that they don't miss out on any opportunity. So Arsenal need to be a little bit threatening with this one. You either respond to us within 72 hours, or actually we walk away, because Cossy has actually compiled a video about the best deals for central midfielders in January. So we could actually as well look at the likes of Yuri Telemans and the other players, rather than spoiling a lot of time and spending a lot of time on a deal that's actually never going to happen. So when I think about this deal, the Danilo deal, I'm thinking, how much time are they going to take just to make sure that Arsenal is the right destination, right? Because for me, if he wants to play in the Premier League, if he wants to play for a good project that knows how to handle young players, Arsenal is a no-brainer. Moving to the Emirates Stadium under Mikel right now is a no-brainer. Actually, if he comes in at Arsenal, he's not going to be one of the star men in that side, despite the fact that we have a very, very young side. He's not going to be one of the star men. Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, all these young guys have actually written their names in black and white. And if you come in, if you're coming in at Arsenal and you're outside the project and you feel well, I'm bigger than this project. At 21, at 22, unless you're Kylian Mbappe or Erling Haaland, you're not bigger than this project currently. You're not bigger than the project. So let's wait and see what they will come up with. We've told them we want to make a bid, so we need to get their consent. That is where we are on that deal. Now, apparently, Arsenal want more players from Manchester City. The few names that I've seen are Gundo and Riyad Mahrez. So let me tell you the story. The story here, guys, is that Manchester City did have a meeting to express their disappointment in themselves for selling Alexander Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal, that have created this kind of undesirable environment for them being second on the table, and both players actually creating the problems. So I think they think if they had sold Zinchenko probably to Barcelona and Gabriel Jesus to a certain club abroad, the problems wouldn't actually be that big. So Manchester City have come up with a resolution that they won't be selling any of their star men to Arsenal. Now, Ike Gundogan I like, Riyad Mahrez I admire, but at times I feel, could we do better than that? Look, I love Riyad Mahrez. He's got one of the best. He's one of the best players for me in the Premier League when it comes to 1v1 situations on the flanks. He's so talented, isn't he? But the rate at which he misses penalties is incredible. The rate at which he misses chances is also incredible. And the older he's getting, I've realized the more disappearing out of action, the more missing out of action he's actually becoming. But look, if we sign Riyad Mahrez or Ike Gundogan, I got no problems with that. They add massively to our squad. So Mikel wants to go there, but look, Gundogan's contract runs down in the summer, right? If Mikel went in for Ike Gundogan and probably tied him down to a contract in January, we can get him. Riyad Mahrez, I'm not just sure, but what I know is that he did sign a new deal, probably until 2025 or 2026, so he might still have some time on his deal. I think this is where Arsenal failed to get a player like Riyad Mahrez. So I think City will be very skeptical about selling to us again. It's the same story with Atletico Madrid. After stealing Thomas Partey on deadline day and triggering his release clause, I don't think we can have a meaningful discussion around a transfer for a player with Atletico Madrid unless the player is going the other way. But coming to Arsenal, it might need a lot of negotiation and a lot of work to be done. But anyway, we do need some players from Manchester City. They are almost we need to go to Shopify and make a few clicks, because they are our Alibaba. Manchester City are Alibaba. They are our Amazon. Whenever we want anything regarding players, do it yourself. It's Manchester City. We are sorry, but it's Manchester City. They have groomed the players, and I think we should sign Edson Alvarez, not Edson Alvarez, but Julian Alvarez as well, because he's quite a fantastic, a very, very fantastic player. But anyway, guys, so that is it from that point of view. Tomiyasu is injured, but I think the biggest story here is that Juve are actually on his case. He's one of the players they would actually love to sign. Now, I remember they did sign Bremer, and after the departure of one of the best centre-backs in the world, the late, I don't know why they need Takara Tomiyasu, but this poses a very big question to the discussion. Takara Tomiyasu, is he one player that should leave Arsenal? In my opinion, Mikel Arteta has actually done more to keep him rather than keep Kieran Tierney. He's actually played him at left back on a couple of occasions, played him at right back when the opportunity has actually risen. And at times, we've seen him play at centre-back. Probably not this season, but we can also see him play at centre-back and even in a back three. So what I think here, guys, is if Mikel Arteta is thinking about selling Takara Tomiyasu, big mistake. We need to keep him around. I think what our players need to understand, not all of you are going to be starting game week in, game week out, and it's all about fighting for your position. Tomiyasu is a very, very good centre-back, but you can be on the bench for a season, and then the next season, you prove your worth, you're back in the squad, and everything is actually going very, very well. So, the discussion around Takara Tomiyasu, apart from the injury that is actually worrying me, I'm still okay. I'm still very, very fine. I'm still very, very okay, unless something drastically changes in that regard. Leicester City are saying they need some little money for Yuri Telemans in January if anyone wants to sign him. So Arsenal should be working on that deal as well. So that is that is what all I had to talk about. The wrap up. MYKHAYLO MUDRYK, the Mirror saying Arsenal set to win that race after a significant dip in the price from 100 million to around 56 million euros. Danilo is contemplating about the Arsenal offer, and then we want more players from Manchester City, and Takehiro Tomiyasu is wanted at Juventus. Look, if there is anything you can do for me on this Sunday, is hitting that like button. I mean, I've not done any World Cup content yet. I'm so sorry. I'm busy. Got a few pamphlets to go through to protect my degree so that I don't get a bad one. But I promise, probably when I get something interesting, yes. Look, I've seen a few interesting results. Messi, buying some life for Argentina. Spain 7-0. I told you guys. England, frustrated with that 0-0 draw against USA. But what do you expect from Gareth Southgate? Saudi Arabia, they've gone back to their level, losing 2-0 to Poland. In my opinion, they were never even meant to win a game in the World Cup. With all due respect, Robert Lewandowski has scored his first goal of the World Cup in his last World Cup tournament, probably. So, yeah, the World Cup is going on. If you want me to do content for the World Cup, I don't have the time, though, but I might. I just might.